Good morning. Your inspirational vitamin for this morning will come from First Peter chapter 5, and we're going to start in verse 5. It says this: All of you clothe yourselves with humility toward one another, because God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that he may exalt you at the proper time, casting all your cares on him, because he cares about you. And yesterday's sermon was really about the humility of Jesus and the humility of John the Baptist. And I really challenged the congregation to imitate that in their personal relationships, in their relationship with Jesus, and really in terms of our outlook on life. We really need to seek humility, seek to lift others up. I love this verse. I didn't read this yesterday, but it's a verse that we could all stand to read on a very regular basis. That we need to clothe ourselves with humility. Like we are to get dressed, so to speak, with humility. We are to put humility on. To me, that means that we're just making an active decision. Just like you go in your closet or in your drawer, and you make a choice on what you're going to wear that day. When it comes to humility, you make a choice as to whether or not you're going to be humble or prideful. And Peter then says the reason you do this is because God resists the proud. Another translation says God opposes the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. Being prideful basically makes you contrary to God, makes you kind of an opponent of God, and your arms are too short to box with God. Nobody wants to go to battle against God. But being prideful makes you do that very thing, right? And so we need to be humble because that's when we receive. God gives grace to those who are humble. I once heard it said that humility is a direct pathway to the heart of God. When you're being humble, you are embraced in the bosom of God. But pride keeps you from being close to God. He says, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God so that he may exalt you at the proper time. I was thinking about this idea of the proper time. We live in a world where people want instant gratification. I think about the fact that, when I was a kid, if I had a favorite song, I had to wait until like the top 8 at 8 or the hot 7 at 7, get a tape recorder and wait till it came on to record it, right? Or I had to go out to the store. You had to go out and wait until your favorite CD or music or whatever was released in the store and then go pick it up. Nowadays, as soon as it becomes available, you can download it, right? Anything you want to search, it's at the tips of your finger on the internet on your phone. And we just live in times where people are used to getting things right away. If you want to know something, you can look it up immediately. You can ask Siri or ask Google to answer a question for you. If you want to know how many miles the Earth is from Mars, you could find out right now. We live in just times of instant gratification. But here it says, humble yourselves under God's mighty hand so that he may exalt you at the proper time. What that signifies is there may be a delay, right? It's not like if you say, God, I'm going to humble myself because I want this thing right now, that it means that you're going to get it. Or even though we know that this is how it works, if I'm humble, God will raise me up. It says here that God's going to do it at the proper time. And so humility is its own reward is basically what I'm trying to get at here. It's not just I'm going to be humble so that God lifts me up. While we know that that is true, that can't be just what we're seeking. And so I love how this verse closes by saying, here's the deal. Cast all your cares on God because he cares for you. God loves us. God cares for us. And that's one of the reasons he wants us to be humble. When you think about, for those of you that are parents, your children, right? You don't want a prideful child. You don't want a stubborn child. You want a child that is humble, that is kind, that thinks of others and puts them before themselves. And God is the same way. He cares about us and wants us to be humble people because he knows that will enrich our relationships with others, but as well as strengthen and enrich our relationship with him. So my encouragement for you this week is to seek humility, to clothe yourself with humility, to make an active choice to be humble in the situations that you face this week. That's our inspirational vitamin for the day. I hope you're encouraged.